Alright, so good morning everyone. Today I'll be discussing about the story entitled Friend or Sahabat by Anwar Ridwan. So before we begin the discussion, let's check your attendance first. Datulaita Ramilin,
Present Miss.
okay. Roda Ordaniza,
Good morning, Miss Present po.
okay. Araya Ferondina,
Present po, Miss.
Antilio Ronime,
Good morning, Miss. Present po.
thank you. So, let's have an activity first, but before that, let's read the objectives. Next slide, Miss Datulaita. Alright, for the objectives, characterize an ideal friend, read, analyze a friend or sahabat, demonstrate the significance of the story, and create a visual presentation of friends. Next slide. Alright, for the first activity, choose one of your classmates and describe her as a person. Can any one of you answer? Alright, go ahead, Miss Rondina.
I choose Miss Rhoda po. And I describe Rhoda as a helpful classmate. She teaches me how to do the task if I don't know how to answer it well. She is a friendly person and she listened to my problem and she gave me advices.
Okay, thank you. So, for me, Pudno, I also have a friend na who listens to my dramas, a friend whom I can talk regarding my burdens and who never leaves me. These are the qualities of a friend we always ask for. So, next slide, Miss Datulaita. Okay, for analysis, describe the qualities of your friend from how they think, feel, and act that you admire the most from him or her. So explain your reason for such. Anyone? Okay, let's have Ordaniza Roda.
Okay, Miss. I think of Ate Ronime because she is so mature. She helped me when I am troubled with my assignments, and I treat her as my ate.
Okay, that's great, that's great. So let's proceed. Okay, before let's proceed to the story, to the author. Next slide, Miss Gatulaita. Next slide, Miss. Okay, thank you very much. So, Mood Anwar Ridwan was born on August 5, 1949, the last of six children in a farmer's family in a small village of Paretsato, Timor, Sungay, Bisar in the state of Selangor, Malaysia. So he is a well-known Malaysian novelist who has profited from multiple translations of his Malay language novels. He is a wholly original product of the system that controls literature in Malaysia. He is one of the 13 authors that was awarded Anugerah Sastranegara or Malaysian National Laureate on October 20, 2009. His high school education was finished at the Sekolah Alam Shah in Kuala Lumpur. He graduated from University Malaya with a Bachelor of Arts in 1973, then Masters of Arts in 1983, and finally finished his doctorate in 1998. So in 1973 he joined the Diwan Bahasadan Pustaka or DBP, the government agency in charge of fostering Malaysian culture until resignation in 2005 as production director of DBP. So on August 11, 2009, he was officially announced as the nation's 10th Sastirawan Negara by the Deputy Prime Minister in his office in Putrajaya. Next slide, please. Okay, after numerous local literary prizes, he received the most prestigious literary prize in 2009 and is the 10th national laureate. After him, two winners in 2011 and 2013, and finally in 2015, a woman, a poet, Datuk Zorinal Hassan. This award recognizes books in Malay, the national language. Other languages are considered as sectional literature. Ridwan is not very convincing when he tells us that a Chinese writing in Malay could be a national laureate. The prize is financially well endowed, but has other advantages. The prize is awarded by the king, or 50,000 copies are purchased by the government, and DBP publishes and translates the works, and there is even the possibility of first-class medical treatment in public hospitals. Anwar Ridwan has published few books, four novels, four collections of short stories, plays, and three collection of essays. Miss Tulaita, okay. Three collection of essays, and his main objective is to defend the positive culture and the good values we inherited from our ancestors. With the emerging global culture tsunami, positive culture and good values are fast disappearing from our society. Next slide, please. Okay, so the summarization of friend or sahabat. So we all know that studying or living abroad is an incredible opportunity for anyone who wants to acquire a variety of relevant experiences and knowledge. And however, migrating to a foreign nation may be both enticing and nevertheless, these feelings could be lessened when you beside you at all the time. So, for the summarization of a friend or sahabat in the story, there are four Malaysian people involved named Anwar, Ismail, Nuria, and Mr. Jacob. Anwar is a friend of the couple, Ismail and Nuria, and an old colleague of Mr. Jacob or Jacob, since they knew each other. And Anwar, Ismail, and Nuria just recently moved from Malaysia to New York to study. They rented an apartment that was years ahead of them. So Mr. Jacob is a prosperous businessman in New York City, as he owned several apartments and his family were well off back in Malaysia. But after his parents passed away, all of their paddy fields and coconut plantation were being sold, and he fled to New York City for new beginning. After their 2 months of staying in the apartment where the three lived, they have to pay for the rent for their third month of staying, or else they have to move. They have to move out. They have to settle the payment for the first week of month as what they have agreed to Mr. Jacob. However, the three haven't received their MSD or the Malaysian Student Development, which is In the Philippines, this is the scholarship. So yet, which complicates everything. Next slide, please. All right. So Anwar went personally to Mr. Jacob to plead some time for them to settle the payment, hoping for him to concur to their favor since they are compatriot. However, Mr. Jacob refused to his favor and just gave them 4 days to settle the payment. And after 4 days, Anwar returned to Mr. Jacob, still without settling the payment. That makes Mr. Jacob furious, saying that New York is not Malaysia where they can just thank you everything. So he makes Anwar and Ismail wear old clothes that makes them look like a beggar. The two feels being humiliated, but they cannot refuse to Jacob because they know what will be the consequence of it. So Mr. Jacob brought them to an Italian restaurant where they need to scrape the walls overnight and where Mr. Jacob used to work and he's still continuously doing it. Even though na he is a prosperous businessman, he still work in some fancy restaurant to they have done as a payment for their third month of staying in his apartment, warning them to settle their payments on time. So Jacob's slave labor is attractive because of the dollars it pays, which is why Ismael and Anwar continue to sign up with Mr. Jacob's employment agency. Over the next few months, even they sends them money on time. A number of urgent jobs are completed with the help of Anwar and Ismael. If not for the two of them, Jacob probably wouldn't have been able to complete so many jobs at the same time. With the extra work, the two also have more money on their hands. Next slide, please. Okay. September 9th, Ismael told Anwar that Noria is pregnant for 3 months, but after consulting to the doctor, the result is that she is 5 months pregnant, and the doctor said she will deliver the baby through C-section or cesarean section. So January is their expected due month for Noria to give birth. So they thought of looking for a new apartment that is more comfortable for the baby to live. They told Jacob about their plan and their chosen room. Unfortunately, their chosen room is ready to move out by January, and Jacob agrees with their plan. All is planned until December came. They are slowly fixing their things as they anticipated that by the end of the year they can move out already and transfer to their new apartment. However, Jacob told them on the phone that the tenant of the room they choose extended 1 month of staying. And another thing, Jacob already contracted their current room with the Hong Kongians, so they need to move out by the end of December. So Anwar went to Jacob, requesting to give them 1 month to stay at their current apartment, hoping he would not refuse since they are compatriot and they have helped him when he needed help, and also would pay bigger than the Hong Kongians just until the tenant of the room they choose moved out to the apartment. However, Jacob refused to his request, comparing that New York is not Malaysia and should not expect for anyone's help. Next slide, Miss. Next slide, Miss. Okay. So Jacob explained balik sa pinakauna, Miss Rameline. Okay, kana. So Jacob explained that he cannot break the deal with the Hong Kongese since have an they have signed an agreement. Anwar felt betrayed. Why can his compatriot do that? They have helped Jacob many times. Instead of returning the favor, he declined them. They couldn't do anything but to think of some ways to get an apartment. I say it was time for them to look for the new one. If there is one person of this earth who doesn't know the meaning of anger, it's Ismael. When Anwar told him what has transpired in his discussion with Jacob, he sits calmly and lives through his diary. As Ismael lives through his diary, he found something: the phone number and address of Nordin NYC at a small apartment. They called him and told their misfortune. They called him and told their misfortune, hoping for some help, and they didn't fail them. So Nordin offers his apartment, even though it is small. They transferred to Nordin's apartment, and when January came, Noria gave birth to a baby boy. Anwar felt ecstatic. They are the people who never left his side, a friend who have laughed and cried with him, and he thought of a single flower as a gift for them. So next slide, please. Okay, for the application. So group yourselves into five and enumerate each qualities as a person and as a friend for 2 minutes. So I'll give you 2 minutes in order to scrutinize your qualities. Check the in-call messages, okay? So everyone is done. Thank you very much for the participation. You got a points of your participations. So next slide, miss. I'll just take I'll just take a screenshot of those who have participated in the application. So for the assessment, answer this and send and just submit it in the Google Classroom. Am I clear?
Yes po, Miss.
Yes, Miss. Yes, Miss.
Okay. Hope you have taken your eyes a screenshot of this. Next slide, Miss Rameline. Okay, for your assignment, take a so make a video of all your close friends and describe their qualities and differences. Deadline, May 30, 2023. Upload on YouTube and submit the link to our Google Classroom. I hope that everything is clear, and that's all. Thank you very much for your participation. I hope you had a great day. You have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mi. Thank, thank,
Thank you
thank
po,
you,
Miss.
Miss. Thank you, Miss.